The fluorescent lights of the hospital parking lot buzzed overhead like dying insects, casting harsh shadows across my trembling hands. I stared at my phone's blue glow, the screen blurring through tears. I was too exhausted to blink away. Before we dive into this thrilling journey of danger, redemption, and unexpected alliances, please like this video if you enjoy dramatic storytelling and subscribe for more captivating stories every week. My reflection in the darkened car window showed what 12 hours in the ER had done to me. Red scrubs wrinkled and stained, hair escaping its ponytail, and the bruise on my jaw that no amount of concealer could hide anymore. I pressed my fingers against the tender spot, wincing. Derek's goodbye gift from our last argument about Tyler. I pulled my thin jacket tighter against the October chill that seeped through my sedan's worn seats. The engine ticked as it cooled, a lonely sound in the empty lot. Inside my purse, Tyler's school photo smiled up at me. Gap-toothed, innocent, unaware that his father was planning something that made my stomach clench with dread. Just call the lawyer, I told myself for the 100th time. D. Williams will know what to do about emergency custody. Derek had been erratic for weeks. Missing visitations, showing up at odd hours, talking in hushed phone conversations that ended abruptly when I walked into rooms. Then 2 days ago he'd cornered me at pickup. His eyes wild with something that looked like panic or triumph or both. "I'm done being small-time, Amy," he'd whispered, gripping my arm hard enough to leave marks. "I've got something now. Real leverage. Tyler and I are going to be set for life." When I'd asked what he meant, he'd grabbed my face. That's when the bruise happened, and told me to stop asking questions. That some things were bigger than our custody arrangement. That I should be grateful he was even letting me see Tyler at all. I scrolled through my contacts with shaking fingers, finding D. Williams' attorney near the top. Derek had given me this number months ago during our separation. Said it was a family lawyer who could help with the paperwork. I'd never called before, always handled things through text with Derek instead. But tonight felt different. Urgent. Like something was about to break. He's gonna run with Tyler. I know it. The thought made my chest constrict. I hit dial before I could second-guess myself, lifting the phone to my ear with both hands to steady it. Rang once. Then a voice I'd never heard before. Deep, controlled, with an edge that made the hair on my neck stand up. "You have 30 seconds to explain why you're calling this number." Not a greeting. Command. My throat went dry. I'm looking for D. Williams. The attorney. "This is Amy Goines I need help with." "There is no attorney." The voice was colder now, clinical. "This is a private line. How did you get this number?" My heart hammered against my ribs. Wrong number. God, please just be a wrong number. "I'm sorry, my ex-husband gave me this contact," he said. "Derek Goines, maybe you know him? I just need to reach his lawyer about our son." Silence. Not the empty kind but the weighted kind. Like a predator deciding whether to strike. When he spoke again, his voice had changed. "Harper. Interested. Derek Goines gave you this number." "Yes, months ago, but I think this must be wrong. I'm so sorry." "Don't hang up. It wasn't a request. What does Derek need a lawyer for?" I should have ended the call. Should have thrown my phone out the window and driven home. But exhaustion had stripped away my survival instincts, leaving only desperate honesty. "Custody. Our son Tyler. Derek's been acting strange lately, missing visits. And I think he's planning to take him Planning to take him where?" "I don't know." The words came out sharp, frustrated. "He won't tell me anything. He just keeps saying he's got leverage now, that things are going to change. He's scaring me." Another pause. Then, "This leverage. Did Derek mention what kind? Where he got it?" Something in his tone made my stomach drop. This wasn't a wrong number anymore. This was something worse. Who are you? Someone your husband stole from. Each word was measured, deliberate. And you're going to tell me exactly where he is. My hand started shaking so hard I nearly dropped the phone. I don't know anything about that. This was a mistake. I'm hanging up. Mrs. Goines. The way he said my name made my blood run cold. I know where you are. Silver Honda Civic, Hospital Employee Lot, Section C. I know where you live. Maple Street, Unit 237. And I know Derek picks up your son from Riverside Elementary tomorrow at 3 p.m. The parking lot suddenly felt vast and exposed. I looked around frantically, seeing nothing but shadows and distant streetlights. How do you? Because I make it my business to know everything about people who take what's mine. His voice softened slightly, which was somehow worse than the threats. I'm not your enemy, Amy. But Derek has put you in a very dangerous position. The only question now is whether you're going to help me fix it, or if you're going to make this harder for everyone. Especially Tyler. My son's name in his mouth felt like a violation. Don't you dare. Go home. Lock your doors. Don't call Derek. Don't warn him. I'll be there within the hour. Oh, and Amy. If you run, I'll find you. If you call the police, I'll know before they hang up the phone. The only safe choice you have right now is to do exactly what I say. The line went dead. I sat frozen in my car, phone clutched in white-knuckled hands, staring at the screen that now showed the call had lasted 4 minutes and 37 seconds. 4 minutes that had somehow ended my life as I knew it. Outside, the October wind picked up, rattling the bare branches of the trees lining the parking lot. In the distance I heard sirens. Someone else's emergency, someone else's crisis. Mine was just beginning. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. 1 hour. Don't make me wait. Then another message, this one with an attachment. Photo. My blood turned to ice. It was Tyler's school taken today. I recognized his jacket in the pickup line. And standing in the background, barely visible but unmistakable, was Derek. Watching. Waiting. Below the photo. Your husband is planning something that will get your son killed. I'm the only thing standing between Tyler and a very bad ending. 1 hour, Mrs. Goines. Use it wisely. I looked at my hands, still shaking, still holding the phone that had just connected me to someone far more dangerous than Derek's fists had ever been. The hospital lights buzzed overhead. My shift had ended 30 minutes ago. In my rearview mirror, I could see the ER entrance where I'd spent the last 12 hours saving lives. Now I couldn't even save my own. I started the car and drove home through streets that suddenly felt unfamiliar, past windows lit with ordinary lives that would never be mine again. Because somewhere in this city, a man I'd never met was sending people to my address. And somewhere else, my ex-husband was planning something with my son that involved leverage and evidence, and all the wrong kinds of attention. By the time I pulled onto Maple Street, I could already see them. Black SUVs. 2 of them. One at each end of the block. And standing under the streetlight in front of my building, backlit by the amber glow, was a figure in a tailored suit that probably cost more than 3 months of my rent. Waiting. I dialed the wrong number. And by nightfall, everything I knew had ended. I drove the familiar route home on autopilot, my mind replaying that voice. I'll be there within the hour, while my hands gripped the steering wheel hard enough to ache. Tyler was safe at my mother's. I dropped him there this morning before my shift, thank God. Whatever happened next, he wouldn't see it. The turn onto Maple Street should have been muscle memory. Instead I froze. Black SUVs bracketed my block like bookends. One at the north entrance, one at the south. Men in dark suits stood beside them, hands clasped in front of them in that universal stance of hired muscle. My neighbor's curtains twitched. Mrs. Chen from 241 stood on her stoop, phone pressed to her ear, probably already calling the police. I couldn't turn around. Running would only confirm guilt I didn't have, or didn't think I had. My foot eased off the brake. The Civic rolled forward like a lamb approaching slaughter. I parked 3 houses down from my building, hands trembling as I killed the engine. Through my windshield I could see him, standing under my porch light like he owned it. Tall, broad-shouldered, wrapped in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than my car. The light caught on his hands, ink crawling across his knuckles, disappearing into crisp white cuffs. Logan Pease. Had to be. He watched me approach with the stillness of a predator. No fidgeting, no phone checking, just absolute controlled attention that made my skin prickle. Mrs. Goines. His voice matched the phone. Smooth, precise, dangerous. Let's talk inside before your neighbors call the police. Not a question. My keys rattled as I unlocked the door. He followed me in and I heard it, the soft thud of expensive shoes being removed. I turned disbelieving. This man, who'd locked down my street with armed guards, was standing in my entryway in his socks. "Your carpet," he said simply, as if that explained everything. My nurse's brain kicked in before I could stop it, cataloging details the way I assessed patients. Relaxed shoulders, not threatened by me. Hands visible, no weapons drawn. Breathing even. Heart rate probably 60, maybe lower. He wasn't here to hurt me. Not yet. What makes you think I know anything about Derek's business? My exhaustion made me blunt. I was too tired for fear. Because Derek kept you close. Men like him always do. Logan moved deeper into my living room, taking in the second-hand furniture, Tyler's drawings on the fridge, the medical textbooks stacked on my coffee table. They need someone to witness their importance, to validate their delusions of competence. He stole from you. Not a question. Evidence files. Documentation of my medical supply operations spanning 5 states. He turned to face me and I saw it then. Not anger but something colder. Calculation. Hospital contacts. Shipment records. Names of people who trusted me. Enough to dismantle everything I've built and destroy dozens of lives in the process. And you think I helped him? No. The certainty in his voice caught me off guard. I think he set you up. Derek's shopping these files to the FBI and my competitors. But a man like that always needs insurance. Leverage. My stomach dropped. Tyler. Among other things. Logan pulled out his phone, tapped the screen. Derek's voice filled my apartment. Tinny but unmistakable. Hidden where Amy has access. Hospital records room disguised as patient files. They'll never look there, and if they do, her fingerprints are all over that section anyway. A pause, then Derek's laugh, sharp and cruel. And if things go south, I've got the kid as insurance. Amy won't risk Tyler. She never does. The recording ended. Silence pressed down like a weight. How long? My voice sounded distant, not mine. 6 months minimum. Probably longer. Logan pocketed his phone. You were always the fall guy, Mrs. Goines. The question is, are you going to stay his victim? Or are you going to help me make sure he never touches your son again? Outside, a siren wailed in the distance. Mrs. Chen had made her call. I need to recover what's mine, Logan said quietly. And you're going to help me. The tech expert arrived at 9 p.m., a thin man with careful hands and eyes that missed nothing. Logan introduced him as Marcus, then stepped back to let him work. I watched from my couch as Marcus moved through my apartment with surgical precision. Smoke detector first. He removed the cover and my stomach lurched. A camera, no bigger than a button, nestled among the wiring. 6 months old, Marcus said, bagging it. Maybe longer. Tyler's room next. I followed, unable to stop myself. Marcus went straight for the teddy bear on the bed. The one Derek had given Tyler for his 6th birthday. The one Tyler slept with every night. Don't. The word died in my throat as Marcus carefully opened the seam along the bear's back. The audio device was smaller than a dime. My knees gave out. I sank onto Tyler's race car bed, staring at that violated bear, and something inside me cracked. All those bedtime stories. Every, "I love you, Mommy." Every nightmare Tyler had whispered about in the dark. Derek had heard it all. I didn't realize I was crying until Logan's voice came from the doorway. "Marcus, give us a moment." The tech expert vanished. Logan stood there, hands in his pockets, watching me with an expression I couldn't read. Then he turned and left. I sat alone in my son's room, holding a teddy bear that had betrayed us both, and let myself break. 5 minutes later, Logan returned with tea. Earl Grey, 2 sugars, exactly how I took it. I stared at the mug. "How long have you been watching me?" "Since Derek first mentioned your name 6 months ago." He set the tea on Tyler's dresser. "I protect my interests. He worked in my operation. That made you relevant." Relevant? The word tasted bitter. "Marcus found a GPS tracker in your car. Derek's been following your movements for months. Work schedules, grocery runs, your mother's address." Logan pulled out his phone, showed me photos. My bruised jaw, taken from multiple angles. He documented this. But look at his notes. I read the attached text. Amy became violent during custody discussion. Grabbed my face when I tried to leave. Had to restrain her. Concerned about son's safety around her escalating behavior. That's not, he hit me. I know. Logan scrolled to another document. Custody petition dated 2 weeks from now. He's been building a case. The unstable mother. The criminal associations. You'll be accused of helping hide evidence he stole from my operations. Your fingerprints all over the hospital records room where he hid the files. Perfect setup. My hand shook around the tea mug. You're telling me this because you want me to turn on him. I'm telling you because you deserve to know who you're protecting. Logan pocketed his phone. Derek planned this for months. Every conversation recorded. Every movement tracked. He was going to take Tyler, destroy your credibility, and frame you for conspiracy. Then disappear with my evidence and your son. The setup was elegant in its cruelty. Derek steals evidence, hides it where I have access, frames me as his accomplice. Even if I proved my innocence, I'd lose Tyler in the chaos. He never loved us. The words came out flat. We were always just assets. Men like Derek don't love. They collect. Logan moved toward the door. Marcus will finish the sweep. I'll be in your living room when you're ready. I sat in Tyler's room, surrounded by his drawings and toys and the innocence Derek had stolen, and felt something cold settle where fear had been. Calculation. Strategy. The survival instinct of a woman with nothing left to lose. My phone rang. Mom's number. Amy. Her voice was panicked. Derek just showed up. He's demanding Tyler. I called the police, but he has custody rights and lock the doors. I'm coming. He's already inside. Amy, he's taking him. Tyler, sweetie, come back. The line went dead. I was moving before conscious thought, racing past Logan toward the door. He has Tyler. Logan was already pulling out his phone, barking orders to someone. But I barely heard him over the roar of blood in my ears. By the time we reached my mother's house, the street was empty. No Derek. No Tyler. Just my mother sobbing on her porch and a police officer taking notes that wouldn't matter. Derek had legal custody. He'd done nothing wrong. He'd taken my son, and there wasn't a law in the world that could stop him. The note was taped to my mother's refrigerator, written in Derek's slanting handwriting. You involved the wrong people. When I have what I need, you'll never see him again. This is your fault. My legs stopped working. I folded onto the kitchen floor like paper, my back against the cabinets, and the world narrowed to those words. Your fault. Your fault. Your fault. Tyler was gone. My baby was gone. And Derek was right, I'd done this. I'd called that number. I'd brought Logan Pease into our lives. Somewhere above me, my mother's voice rose, sharp and furious. You did this. You brought criminals to my family. My grandson is gone because of you. No, ma'am. Logan's voice was quiet, controlled. Your son-in-law did this. He stole from me, set up your daughter, and used his own child as a bargaining chip. I'm going to get your grandson back. With what? More violence. More. With whatever it takes. I felt hands under my arms lifting. Logan's voice in my ear. Amy. We're leaving. I need you functional. I wasn't functional. I was a shell, a hollow thing that looked like a mother but had failed at the only job that mattered. He guided me to his car, a black sedan that smelled like leather and expensive cologne, and I sat numbly as the city slid past the windows. We didn't go to a warehouse. The building was downtown, glass and steel, with Logan's name on a brass plate in the lobby. Legitimate. Respectable. A lie wrapped in architecture. His office was on the top floor. He settled me on a leather couch, and I sat there shaking, unable to form words. My throat had closed. My mind had stopped. Logan didn't press. He just sat across from me in silence, waiting as the city woke up beyond the windows. Sunrise painted the sky in shades of amber and rose, beautiful and wrong. The world shouldn't be beautiful when Tyler was missing. Finally, as golden light spilled across the floor, Logan spoke. My father used me as collateral when I was 8. Gang territory dispute. His voice was distant, remembering. I spent 3 days in a basement, zip-tied to a pipe, wondering if my own blood mattered to him enough to come back. I surfaced from the shock, blinking. What happened? My uncle killed my father and took me home. Logan's hands were clasped between his knees, knuckles white. Taught me that family isn't who shares your name. It's who protects you when you're most vulnerable. Something in his words cut through the paralysis. I straightened, my nurse's brain engaging despite the terror. Tyler has a smartwatch. Logan's eyes sharpened. What? Medical alert device. He had pneumonia last year. I activated it so the school could reach me. My words came faster now, hope bleeding through the fear. Derek doesn't know. I never told him. I pay for it separately from my hospital insurance. Can you track it? If he's still wearing it. My hands fumbled for my phone. He never takes it off. It looks like a regular watch. Derek wouldn't think. I pulled up the tracking app, holding my breath. The screen loaded. A blue dot appeared on the map, moving steadily north. He's running. Logan was already on his feet, phone out. Where's that location? Highway 17. Heading toward. I zoomed out, my stomach dropping. The Canadian border. Logan's jaw tightened. How long before he crosses? I calculated distances, speed limits, Derek's paranoia about being followed. 12 hours. Maybe less. Then that's how long we have. Logan made a call, barking orders about routes and intercept points. Then he turned back to me, and for the first time since this nightmare began, he smiled. Small, sharp, predatory. Your ex-husband thinks he's won. He thinks he has all the leverage. I stood, my legs steady now. Purpose had replaced paralysis. But we know where Tyler is. And Derek doesn't know we know. Logan held out his hand. We have an advantage, Mrs. Goines. Let's not waste it. I took his hand. His grip was firm, warm, anchoring. Let's go get my son back. Logan's office transformed into a war room within minutes. Men appeared with laptops and maps, spreading routes across the conference table. Highways marked in red. Border crossings circled. Tyler's blue dot pulsing steadily north. FBI has the location. Marcus looked up from his screen. Agent Sarah Chen's coordinating a federal manhunt. She wants the evidence files, doesn't care about the kid. 3 forces converging on Derek. Logan's people, federal agents, and whoever was buying those stolen files. My son was caught in the center of it all. I'm coming with you. My voice cut through the tactical planning. Logan didn't even look up. No. He won't hurt Tyler if I'm there. I moved to the table, planting my hands on the map. He needs me afraid. That's his power. If I'm there, he'll focus on me instead of running. You're not trained for this. I'm a trauma nurse. I've seen more violence than half your men. I met his eyes across the table. Gunshot wounds, stabbings, domestic abuse victims who didn't make it. I know what bodies look like when they break. And I know Derek's weaknesses. His tells, his patterns when he's about to snap. Logan studied me for a long moment, then nodded. You follow my lead. No heroics. Agreed. I straightened. But when this is over, I want assurances. Name them. Tyler and I disappear. New names, new city. Enough money to start over clean. I held his gaze. And Derek never touches us again. The room went quiet. Logan's men exchanged glances. Define never touches. My voice came out cold, clinical. The same tone I used when calling time of death. However you need to define it. I don't want details. I just want it done. Logan pulled out his phone, typed rapidly. A document appeared on the screen. Already drafted, like he'd anticipated this. Terms. Conditions. A new life spelled out in legal language. He signed with his thumb, then slid the phone to me. I signed without hesitation. My mother's voice came from the doorway. Amy, do you know what you're agreeing to? I looked at her. This woman who'd taught me to be nice, to forgive, to keep trying with Derek even when his hands left marks. I'm agreeing to survive, Mom. That's more than Derek ever let me do. Logan pocketed his phone. You should have been the one running my medical operations. Derek was always weak. Something almost like a smile tugged at my mouth. The absurdity of it. A crime lord complimenting my management skills while we planned to hunt down my ex-husband. When this is over, Logan said, I have a job offer for you. I don't work for criminals. Neither do I. I work for myself. He handed me a bulletproof vest. There's a difference. I took the vest, weighing it in my hands. Heavy. Protective. Nothing like the thin scrubs that had been my only armor for years. Marcus swore suddenly. GPS stopped. We crowded around his screen. Tyler's blue dot had frozen, 40 miles from the Canadian border. No longer moving north. Abandoned warehouse. Marcus pulled up satellite imagery. Industrial district. Condemned. Derek's made his stand. Logan checked his watch. FBI. 3 hours out. Maybe less if Chen pushes. Then we move now. Logan was already grabbing keys, issuing orders. His men moved like a choreographed unit, efficient and lethal. I strapped on the vest, my hands steady despite the terror clawing at my chest. Somewhere in that warehouse Tyler was waiting. Scared. Alone with a man who saw him as currency. Mrs. Goines. Logan stood by the door watching me. Once we do this, there's no going back. I thought about the teddy bear with its hidden microphone. The bruise on my jaw that Derek had documented as my violence. The systematic destruction of everything I'd built. There was never anything to go back to. He nodded once. Then let's finish this. We left for the warehouse, and I didn't look back. The highway stretched empty ahead, asphalt shimmering in the late morning heat. Logan drove in silence, his security team following in 2 SUVs behind us. The forced intimacy of the car made every breath feel significant. Why medical supplies? Finally asked. Of all the criminal enterprises. Logan's hands relaxed on the wheel. Legitimate front. High markups. Easy to move money through insurance claims and hospital purchasing. He glanced at me. And it helps people who need it. The system fails the vulnerable. Fill gaps. Sometimes legally, sometimes not. You're not Robin Hood. People get hurt in your world. Fewer than in the legal pharmaceutical industry. His voice held no defensiveness, just fact. I've done the math. My operations have lower mortality rates than denied insurance claims. I wanted to argue, but the truth was uncomfortable. How many patients had I watched die because their insurance wouldn't cover treatment? How many had chosen between medication and rent? Why did you marry him? Logan's question came quietly. I stared out the window at passing fields. Because I thought I could fix him. Save him. I was 23 and stupid. You're not stupid. You're loyal to a fault. There's a difference. The understanding in his voice surprised me. Who were you loyal to? My mother. His jaw tightened. She kept going back to my father. I thought if I was good enough, strong enough, she'd leave. She never did. Silence settled between us. Not awkward, but weighted with shared recognition. We'd both loved people who couldn't be saved. Both believed our loyalty could transform poison into something survivable. Never did. The abandoned gas station appeared like a ghost from another decade. Logan pulled behind the building, where his team had already assembled. Marcus spread maps across the hood of an SUV. Derek's car is visible through the west entrance. No movement for an hour. He pulled up thermal imaging on his tablet. 2 heat signatures. One larger adult male. One smaller stationary. Tyler. My chest constricted. Likely restrained or sleeping. No signs of struggle. Marcus zoomed in. Derek hasn't eaten. No food wrappers, no supply runs. Matches stimulant use. Logan studied the warehouse layout. Amy goes in alone. Wired for audio. Her job is to assess Tyler's condition and keep Derek talking. We create a perimeter, ready to extract on my signal. FBI arrival. Yes. 45 minutes. Maybe less. Logan fitted a small earpiece into my ear. Tested the connection. His voice came through clear. Can you hear me? He nodded. What if Derek shoots me? The question came out steadier than I felt. Logan's eyes locked on mine, dark and absolutely certain. He won't get the chance. I'll be 10 steps behind you. They handed me a jacket, concealing the wire, making me look civilian. Unthreatening. Just Tyler's desperate mother. I stood at the edge of the gas station, staring across the empty field toward the warehouse. Rusted metal, broken windows, the perfect place for desperate men to make final stands. Logan's hand touched my shoulder briefly. You're ready. I'm terrified. Good. That means you're smart. He stepped back, hand moving to the gun at his hip. But remember, you're not his victim anymore, Amy. I started walking across the field, dead grass crunching under my feet. The earpiece crackled. Logan's voice steady and cold. You're the predator now. The warehouse loomed ahead, its shadow swallowing me whole. Somewhere inside Tyler was waiting. And Derek, armed, paranoid, cornered, was about to learn that the woman he'd underestimated for 7 years had finally stopped apologizing for existing. I reached the entrance, took a breath, then stepped into the darkness. The warehouse was a corpse of industry. Rusted machinery, shattered windows, cold air that tasted of decay. My footsteps echoed on concrete as my eyes adjusted to the dim light. Then I saw them. Tyler zip-tied to a folding chair, his face streaked with tears. And Derek, pacing like a caged animal, gun in his shaking hand. Unwashed. Manic. His pupils were blown wide, jaw clenched, a visible tremor in his left hand. You brought them here. Derek's voice cracked. I knew you would. You always ruin everything. I forced my voice steady, ignoring him completely. Tyler, baby, look at me. Focus on my voice. You're going to be fine. Tyler's eyes found mine. His breathing slowed. Even now, maternal authority overrode his father's chaos. Derek laughed, sharp, brittle. Still playing the saint. I did this for us, Amy. The money, the fresh start. We could still do this together. Take the evidence, disappear, be a real family. Evidence files sat stacked on a metal table. His bargaining chips. His delusion. For the first time in 7 years I saw him clearly. Not through the lens of hope or obligation or fear. Just a man who'd never wanted a family. Only an audience for his self-destruction. You don't want a family, Derek. You want someone to witness you burn. His face contorted. Don't psychoanalyze me. You're experiencing amphetamine psychosis. My voice dropped into clinical assessment, the tone I used for combative patients in the ER. Dilated pupils. Tremor in your left hand. You haven't eaten in 36 hours. You're crashing. Stop analyzing me like I'm one of your patients. You are. You're sick. You've always been sick. I took a step closer. But I'm done trying to cure you. Logan's voice crackled in my earpiece. Good. Keep him destabilized. Derek raised the gun, but his hand shook violently. I'll shoot. The safety's on. Kept my voice calm, factual. You'd have to switch it off before you could hurt anyone. He looked down just for a second. Metal shrieked as the back entrance exploded inward. 3 men in black materialized like shadows, moving with brutal efficiency. Derek's gun clattered to the floor. Someone's knee slammed into his back. Zip ties secured his wrists. I was already running to Tyler, my hands checking him with practiced speed. Pull strong. No visible injuries. Breathing elevated but steady. Mom! His voice broke on a sob. I was so scared. I know, baby. I know. I cut the zip ties with the knife someone handed me, pulling him into my arms. But it's over now. He can't hurt us anymore. Derek's screams echoed off concrete. You'll never keep him from me. Have rights. I'm his father. Logan appeared from the shadows, moving with the same controlled precision I'd seen in my apartment. He crouched beside Derek, voice soft and absolutely lethal. You gave up your rights when you used your son as a shield. We're done here. Footsteps pounded outside. Authoritative voices shouting commands. The FBI had arrived. Agent Sarah Chen burst through the entrance, tactical team fanning out behind her, weapons raised. She was small, sharp-eyed, taking in the scene with trained assessment. Derek restrained, Tyler in my arms, Logan's men positioned strategically. FBI. Nobody move. She focused on Logan. Mr. Pease. Step away from the suspect. Logan raised his hands slowly, stepping back with theatrical compliance. Agent Chen. Perfect timing. Derek Goines is all yours. Her eyes narrowed. And the evidence files. Logan gestured to the table. Everything you need to close your case. Hospital contacts, shipment records, financial documentation. Consider it a gift. Chen moved to the files, her second-in-command securing Derek. She flipped through pages, her expression hardening with each one. You're just handing this over. Suspicion dripped from every word. I'm a legitimate businessman who had property stolen. Logan's voice held perfect innocence. I recovered it. Now I'm cooperating with federal authorities. Unless there's a problem. Chen stared at him for a long moment. Then at me, holding Tyler. Finally at Derek. Manic, sweating, destroyed. Take him. She nodded to her team. Derek Goines, you're under arrest for theft of federal evidence, kidnapping and, she paused. We'll see what else we find. As they dragged Derek past us. He tried to lunge toward Tyler. Logan's hand shot out, stopping him cold. Don't. One word. Absolute. Derek was gone. Sirens faded into distance. I held Tyler close, feeling his heartbeat against mine, and finally, let myself breathe. Agent Chen cornered Logan outside the warehouse while her team processed Derek. You're just handing him over. After everything. Her eyes narrowed. What's your angle, Pease? No angle. Logan's voice held perfect innocence. I'm a legitimate businessman. Someone stole from me, I recovered my property. Now I'm pressing charges and cooperating with federal authorities. She didn't believe him. I could see it in the way her jaw tightened. Mrs. Goines. Chen turned to me. I need your statement. The FBI field office was fluorescent bright and institutional. I sat across from Chen in an interview room, Tyler safe with my mother, and told the truth. Derek's surveillance equipment, the custody threats, the setup designed to frame me as his accomplice. And Mr. Pease. Chen's pen hovered over her notepad. How did you come to be working with him? I'm not working with him. He recovered stolen property. I recovered my son. Our interests aligned. Chen pulled out a folder, spreading crime scene photos across the table. Bodies. Violence. Years of Logan's suspected crimes. This is who you're protecting. I looked at each photo carefully. Then met her eyes. Show me photos of what my husband did to me. Document every bruise, every threat. Every time the system told me I had no recourse because Derek had legal rights. Then we'll compare monsters. Her expression hardened. You're making a mistake. No. Understood. I made a mistake 7 years ago when I married Derek. This is me fixing it. By evening I was back in Logan's office. The legitimate one with brass plates and expensive views. Tyler was with my mother, being interviewed by child services. If processing trauma but alive. Logan poured 2 glasses of whiskey, handed me one. The evidence I gave the FBI is real. I know. But my operation relocated 3 weeks ago. Those files expose old contacts, not current ones. He sat across from me, completely relaxed. Derek's theft actually helped. Forced me to cut loose liabilities, eliminate competition. The FBI gets their conviction. Derek goes to prison. And I'm cleaner than I was before. The whiskey burned going down. You used Derek's betrayal to your advantage. I used everyone's assumptions against them. The FBI's assumption that I'd fight to protect those contacts. Derek's assumption that I'd come after you for revenge. He tilted his head. And Derek's belief that you were weak. Am I supposed to be impressed by this manipulation? No. You're supposed to recognize talent when you see it. Logan's smile was sharp. You did the same thing in that warehouse. Your medical analysis of Derek's psychosis. That was strategy, not compassion. You manipulated him as effectively as I did. The realization settled cold in my stomach. I'd assessed Derek's stimulant use not to help him, but to exploit his vulnerability. I'd used my medical knowledge as a weapon. We're not so different, you and I, Logan said quietly. The unsettling truth was, he was right. My mother's voice cracked when I called. Child Services cleared Tyler. He's processing it, but he's safe. Thank you for. I don't know who you've become, Amy. Her words cut sharp. The woman who left that warehouse isn't my daughter. I'm someone who protects her child. That's all I ever was. At what cost? Margaret's voice dropped to a whisper. What did you trade away today? I looked at Logan across the office. Whatever it takes, Mom. She hung up. Logan appeared at my side with a folder. Documents, official-looking and dense with legalese. It's done. Sarah and James Mitchell, relocated for federal witness protection. New identities, financial accounts, relocation package. You're free. I stared at the papers. New names. New city. The life I'd begged for just days ago. Escape from Derek, safety for Tyler, a chance to disappear and start over. My ticket to freedom. But instead of relief, I felt empty. These documents represented everything I'd wanted. And somehow they felt like surrender. Something wrong. Logan watched me with those calculating eyes. I set the folder down carefully. I need to think. About what? This is what we agreed on. I know. My voice sounded distant. I just need time. Logan leaned back, studying me. You're not running anymore, are you? I looked at the documents again. Sarah Mitchell. A woman with no history, no scars, no proof she'd survived anything. A clean slate that erased everything I'd fought to become. I don't know what I'm doing, I admitted. Logan smiled. A real one this time, not the sharp predatory version. Good. That means you're considering options. What options? We'll discuss them tomorrow. He stood, collecting the documents. Tonight, go home. Be with Tyler. Sleep. As I turned to leave, he added quietly. Amy, you're not weak. You never were. But you're also not who you were 3 days ago. Paused at the door. Is that supposed to be comforting? No. It's supposed to be true. Logan's office felt different in morning light. Less threatening, almost peaceful. I'd come to sign the final papers, thank him, and disappear into my new life as Sarah Mitchell. Tyler was with his therapist, starting the long process of healing. Breakfast waited on the conference table. Coffee exactly how I took it. Bagels. Fruit. Logan stood by the window, watching the city wake up. You remembered I don't eat enough, I said, surprised. You run on caffeine and obligation. Someone should notice. The small gesture caught me off guard more than any of his calculated moves. We sat in silence and it felt comfortable. Wrong but comfortable. You don't have to disappear, Logan said finally. The FBI think you're hiding in witness protection. But there's no actual case against you. Derek's charges don't touch you. I set down my coffee. Then why the new identity? Because I thought you'd want to escape all of this. He turned from the window. But now I'm not sure you do. He explained it methodically. Legitimate medical facilities, hospitals, clinics, supply companies, all needing proper management by someone who understood healthcare. CEO position, real salary, legitimate work, and the illegitimate parts. Yes. You'd never touch them. Your clinics would be clean. Real operations helping real people. Why separate them? That's a vulnerability. Because I need something legitimate. Something that actually matters. His voice dropped. And I need someone I trust to run it. I almost laughed. You don't trust me. You barely know me. I know you walked into a warehouse to save your son from an armed man. I know you negotiated like a professional under extreme duress. I know you see clearly even when you're terrified. He paused. That's enough. He took the papers. I need to think. 3 days. I spent them researching Logan's operations, following financial trails through public records. What I found made me stop breathing. Domestic violence shelters, addiction treatment centers, legal aid clinics, all funded quietly through shell corporations. No publicity, no recognition. He was already doing what I would do with that kind of money. Day 3, I returned to his office. I'll stay. But not as your employee. Logan's eyebrow raised. What then? Partner. 50-50 on the legitimate operations. Full authority over expansion. I met his eyes. We build a network. Medical clinics, shelters, legal services for vulnerable people. Women escaping violence, uninsured families, immigrants. Your money, my expertise. You're asking me to launder money through charity. I'm asking you to do something meaningful. Is that so foreign? Something like respect flickered across his face. Partners means equal say. Equal risk. I'm aware. It means people will think you're my. He paused, searching for the right word. What? Mistress. Partner. Accomplice. I leaned forward. Let them think what they want. I stopped caring about other people's opinions when my ex-husband bugged my son's teddy bear. And Tyler. Growing up in this world. The question I'd wrestled with for 3 sleepless nights. Tyler grows up watching his mother build something important. Watching me be strong instead of hiding. That's worth the risk. Logan studied me for a long moment. The silence stretched. Waited with implications I couldn't fully calculate. You understand what you're accepting. Once you're in this world, there's no clean exit. I was in it the moment I dialed your number. My voice was steady. I'm just choosing to stay on my terms. He stood, extending his hand across the desk. Partners. Took it. His grip was firm, warm, anchoring. For the first time in years, my hand didn't shake. Partners. The word hung between us. Promise and threat, beginning and point of no return. Logan smiled, releasing my hand. I'll have legal draw up the contracts. Equal ownership, full authority over the medical network. Separate accounts from my other operations. And when the FBI comes asking questions, they won't. You're a legitimate healthcare executive managing legitimate facilities. Everything will be documented, taxed, legal. He paused. The protection I offer isn't just from Derek. It's from scrutiny itself. I gathered my things, this office suddenly feeling like mine too. At the door I turned back. Why me really? You could hire anyone. Logan's expression softened almost imperceptibly. Because you understand survival isn't about running. It's about transforming the battlefield into something you control. I left with my own copy of the partnership agreement, my real name on the documents, and the strange certainty that I just made either the best or worst decision of my life. Possibly both. The autumn sun warmed my shoulders as I stood before the Goins Medical Center. Scissors poised over the red ribbon. Professional dress had replaced scrubs. Tailored, confident mine. City officials flanked me. Press cameras clicked. Community leaders applauded. This was real. Legitimate. A free clinic for the underinsured, domestic violence resources, pediatric care. Everything I'd imagined and more. Tyler stood in the crowd beside my mother, smiling. Healing. Still in therapy but thriving. And Logan. He stood at the back, observing without centering himself. Letting this be mine. Ms. Goins, a reporter called out. How did this partnership come about? I smiled, polished and prepared. Mr. Pease and I recognized a shared vision for community healthcare. Sometimes the most unexpected partnerships create the most meaningful change. The scissors cut through ribbon. Applause erupted. The center's doors opened to its first patients. That evening I sat alone in my office. Glass walls, my name on the door, city lights stretching endlessly beyond. Logan appeared with champagne. 2 glasses already poured. Congratulations, partner. We toasted in comfortable silence, the kind that had developed over late-night planning sessions and shared purpose. I keep waiting for the catch, I admitted. For the moment this all falls apart. It won't. You built something real. That's harder to destroy than you think. We built it. Don't pretend you weren't involved. I provided resources. You provided the vision. There's a difference. He stared out at the city. My mother never got out. My father destroyed her piece by piece until there was nothing left. I always wondered what she could have been if someone had. He trailed off. If someone had protected her. If someone had shown her she was worth protecting. Understanding settled between us. Not romantic, not yet, but something more complex. Mutual respect. Shared purpose. Cautious trust. Are you asking if I regret staying? I'm asking if you regret dialing the wrong number. I considered the question honestly. I thought I made a mistake. But maybe it was the first right choice I'd made in years. And Derek. He sends letters. I don't read them. His parental rights were terminated. Tyler doesn't ask about him anymore. Good. Some fathers don't deserve their children. Some people don't deserve second chances. But some do. I looked directly at him. We're building something that gives people second chances. That matters more than where the money came from. Later at home, a townhouse with Tyler's name on the deed, Logan's protection but my ownership, I tucked my son into bed. His drawings of the medical center covered his walls. Mom, are you and Mr. Logan friends? Yes, sweetheart. Good friends. He's not like Daddy. I chose my words carefully. No, he's not. Is that okay? Yeah, he's nice. He doesn't yell. My heart broke and healed simultaneously. No, he doesn't. Tyler yawned, clutching his new teddy bear. This one unviolated, safe. I'm glad you called him. Even though it was a mistake. I smiled, kissing his forehead. Me too, baby. Me too. Midnight found me back at the office, unable to sleep. City lights no longer frightened me. The darkness had become mine. My phone rang. Logan's nightly check-in, our routine now. You left hours ago. Why are you back? Couldn't sleep. Wanted to verify the medical supply orders. You don't trust my people to count morphine. Amusement colored his voice. I trust you. I'm still learning to trust myself in this world. You're doing better than you think. The center served 47 patients today. 12 were domestic violence survivors. You saved lives, Amy. We saved lives. Then, sleep. Tomorrow we have the zoning meeting for the second clinic. Already planning the empire, partner? Always. That's what we do now. I hung up, staring at my reflection in the dark window. 3 months ago, I'd stood in a hospital parking lot with shaking hands and fading bruises, believing I had no choices left. Tonight, I stood in an office with my name on the door, building something that mattered. Tyler was safe. I was free. And the man who'd locked down my street had given me keys to my own kingdom. The wrong number had led me exactly where I needed to be. I turned off the light and locked the door. Outside, Logan's car waited, not to intimidate but to escort me home safely. Got in. We drove through the city we were rebuilding together. One clinic, one shelter, one life at a time. The red scrubs were long gone. Now I wore armor of my own making. And I was never going back. Thank you for reading. She dialed a number by mistake. Sparkles, until next time, stay safe and keep reading. Sparkles.